proud of this kid. Stacy, you can take your earmuffs off.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Stacy, you can take your earmuffs off. It's not a paid video. I should have. Teacher donation. I'm going to call one. There it is.
Walter.
She'll be here in a
Yeah,
minute.
Walter. Is the altitude here? Is the altitude there?
Here's Judy. Put it down.
There she is. There's a whoopie-doopie. Right there. Is that a whoopie-doopie?
If I could have everyone's attention, we're going to begin. Now, for the video, where is our video fellow?
Right here.
Okay. You're doing it. Okay. Mark, I'd like the importance of this one particular room, which I think is very significant. This is the Beit Midrash, the house of study. And the reason that they would call it that is really evident if we take a look with our eyes. I'm sure Walter's been explaining all kinds of archaeological things to you the way you've been talking in the bus, so this is not totally new. So when they discovered this room, now this goes back 2,000 years ago, and I'm not going to take the time because Walter's going to cover all this. Herod's time. This is a zealot addition right after the temple was destroyed in the year 70. The zealots are here, and that's when apparently this addition was made. This was apparently a table. Not table height today, but it was then. And everyone is sitting around a bench, and of course there's walls, roof, ceiling, and so on. And the teacher is, so to speak, opening his book and teaching from the table, and the students are sitting around and they're studying Torah. And so consequently, a Beit Midrash, a house of study, is where you study the written texts of Judaism. Now, if it's not a Beit Midrash, you know, maybe you can, I'm sure Walter plays devil's advocate. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Okay? If it's not a Beit Midrash, what is it? Okay, is it a dining room? I mean, you don't know. If you look at the newest book on Masada, there's about 3 volumes I've seen in the office, and I think there's 1 or 2 on 30 years ago.
Blown with delight. I had a cake box with colors, warm and cool and bright. I had no red for wounds and blood. I had no black for an orphan child. I had no white for the face of the dead. I had no yellow for burning sand. I had an orange for joy and light. I had a green for buds and blooms. I had a blue for clear, bright skies. I had a pink for dreams and rest. I sat down and painted.
Amen. Ages, in all the ages of our history and in all the lands of our dispersion, we have remembered it with love and longing, saying with the psalmist, as we all say together, "If I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand wither. Let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I do not remember you, if I do not set Jerusalem above my highest joy." We celebrate the rebirth of Israel in its ancient land. We recall with gratitude the devotion of its builders and the valor of its defenders. We give thanks that we have been permitted to witness this great event and to be participants in this modern miracle. We're going to join together. Behold how pleasant it is with brothers, men and women dwell together. I hope you've been singing on your bus the last few days. I hope it's a melody you gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, שבטחים גם יחד. Gordon is going to lead us responsibly by paragraph. A pledge to remember.
Look back on bitter suffering. Look back on noble endurance. Behold our faith and truth, our heroic trust in God.
Look back and wonder, what is this people? What is the meaning of this life?
I, the Lord, have called you to righteousness and taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations, to bring the captives out of prison and those who sit in darkness from their dungeons.
I put my spirit upon them, and they may bring justice to the nations. Though bent like a reed, they shall not be broken. Though their flame burns low, they shall not be snuffed out. Faithfully shall they bring forth justice.
They shall not weaken, they shall not be broken. At last to establish justice in the earth, as the most distant lands respond to their teaching. God chose us,
we chose God. There is a mystery here that reason cannot solve, nor cynicism dismiss. We can deny that mystery, or we can humbly recognize it, each resolving to be a part of it, saying to God, Hineni, here I am, send me.
Generation after generation, in times of darkness, in times of light, we have heard the divine word. You shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. We have felt the joy of being God's servants. We have also felt the pain, for it has been our destiny to be God's suffering servants.
Remember the suffering of the house of Israel, people of pains and acquainted with grief. Again and again our peace has been shattered, our land usurped, our dwellings razed. The mind grows numb, and our heart turns to stone, to see our long travail.
Our foes were not content to give us pain. Their dream was darker still, a world without Jews, a world that would not forget our very name. We cannot forget this, or be indifferent fast in vain.
I swear this morning I'll not live unchanged. Yizkor Elohim. May God remember the souls of our brethren, martyrs of our people, who gave their lives for the sanctification of His name. May their bravery, dedication, and purity be reflected in our lives. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life. May they rest eternally in dignity and peace. Amen. But in spite of all the different tragedies of Jewish history, everything that happened during the Holocaust, for instance, in Europe, but before that, going back hundreds, thousands of years, you can go back to the persecutions of the Hanukkah holiday, the Maccabee story. In spite of that, we have continued to believe in Messiah, and I'd like everyone to join together with these words in the hymn, where they say that some of our relatives sang this as they marched to the chambers, as we say. Ani ma'amin, ani ma'amin, ani ma'amin, be'emuna shlema, be'viat HaMashiach, be'viat HaMashiach, ani ma'amin, ואף על פי שיתממיה, עם כל זה אני מאמין. It shall dream of the return to Zion, and the rebuilding of Jerusalem gave hope and faith to generations of Jews in their dispersion throughout the world. Today we are witnesses to the realization of this dream, as promised by the prophets of Israel. And the words that we're going to join with you responsibly are from Jeremiah, who lived, I think you probably were in the area of the Western Wall, and Walter explained to you, the Babylonians destroyed the first temple. The prophet Jeremiah was alive at that time. He disappeared somewhere. They took him to Egypt, apparently. But he said that the people would come back. And these words came true. We came back. A few years later, we built the second temple. We came back